Welcome to the Bouquet Toss, the podcast that helps you plan your wedding day your way. We're your hosts, Jessica
and Sari, and each episode we deep dive into the traditions and trends that you either love, hate, or straight up don't understand to help us all figure out why we do weddings the way that we do. The Bouquet Toss is part of the Love Stories TV podcast network.
This episode is presented by the Rescue Kit Company, fashion emergency kits and tools created to prevent and solve wardrobe disasters. Don't let rips, stains, or fashion mishaps ruin your perfect day. Visit therescuekitco.com to learn more.
So one of the worst things that can happen is a wedding emergency.
Yes.
They're kind of unavoidable, but we thought it would be nice to dedicate an episode to being your best prepared self so you maybe don't have a wedding emergency. I think there's just a lot of things, right? There's a lot of things to remember, a lot of things to bring with you, a lot of things to pack, a lot of logistics to figure out about how it's all going to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so let's get into it.
Great.
I really think one of the biggest things is all the things you need to bring with you on the big day. So let's start by thinking through all the things that a bride might need to bring with her on the big day. So things that she needs to pack and put in a bag and make sure is with her on the day of.
Okay.
So what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Your marriage license.
Yes. Important. Has to be signed to make it official.
Yes.
You're probably also going to want your wedding day timeline with the list of all your vendors.
Yes.
And all the contact info.
Yes, but you've also given this to people too.
Yes.
We hope.
Hopefully you have a day of coordinator as well.
Mm-hmm.
Always good to have extra copies for you, maybe your maid of honor.
And your vendors, your photographer, anybody.
Of course.
Get them before.
Yes. If you are, reciting vows that you've written yourself, you want a copy of those written either in your cute little vow book or a printout.
Not on your phone.
Not on your phone. Let's not read our vows from a cell phone in the year of our Lord, 2024, 2025, depending on when this airs. One thing I think for the getting ready period, obviously, you want to have a shirt that you can button up or a robe that ties around you. Sari's wearing a great example today.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's something that you don't often think about. Hopefully your makeup artist, if you're using one, reminds you. But if you're not using one, you might forget. And I do think though, it's people are often deciding are they doing the big getting ready with photos? Because if you're taking photos, you want that really cute, maybe it says bride on it, or you want matching PJs or whatever. But for a lot of people, I feel like they're not doing that as much. And so you can kind of forget just in general that you need something that you're not going to pull over your head to ruin your hair and makeup.
Right, exactly.
That's
don't want to mess anything up, and you want it to be easy on, easy off.
Easy on, easy off, and not see-through or anything, because people are just going to be a revolving door coming in and annoying you on that day. And if you can see everything, you're going to be like, oh, wait, don't come in. You can't be indisposed.
Such a good point. Another thing that is really handy to have on hand, on the wedding day, is a garment steamer, for all the bridesmaids' dresses. Obviously, hopefully you've steamed your wedding gown beforehand if it needs to be steamed, but it's always good to have on hand just in case of last minute wrinkles, emergencies.
Yeah, throw it in.
Yes, absolutely throw it in. One thing that I always love to remind brides is to bring a cute hanger for your wedding dress. I've seen so many photos, and I'm sure you did too, as the weddings editor for Budget's Heavy Bride, of just a generic plastic hanger that this beautiful expensive dress that you're wearing once in your life on a yucky store plastic hanger.
Yes, but also remember it, but also Photoshop can probably fix that nowadays.
That's true. Nowadays. With AI they can fix everything.
Yeah.
So
but bringing it you will get cute photos and you'll
it also makes a great gift. So if you're looking for a gift for a bridal shower or something like that, a pretty hanger is always a good option.
Yeah.
For me, and I know this is important to you as well, having snacks on hand for getting ready.
Don't forget your snacks. The worst thing is to be hangry on your wedding day. And I also think you already know you're not going to get to eat as much as you want during the party, the reception, but it's also during the day because there's just no time for anything. So if you are, I don't know, if you think that even if you plan, I did have wraps and sandwiches and stuff coming for my bridal party, but I was let's just have an extra little tote of things in case I can't reach for that and I'm hungry.
Yeah. Recommend a high protein snack and stay hydrated, ladies.
Yes.
For sure. Obviously, you don't want to forget your wedding bands.
Yes.
Very important. In case of inclement weather, umbrellas.
Yeah. Honestly, I panic ordered about 16 clear umbrellas.
Really?
And then we didn't even need them. Well, we needed them, but we didn't go outside.
Right.
With the bridal party. And my husband and I went when the rain stopped. So we didn't end up needing them and we just returned them, which was great because they weren't open.
The beauty of Amazon Prime.
But yeah, truly.
Also, don't forget to pack your day after bag. So the things that you're going to need for the day after the wedding, a change of clothes, obviously. I don't think you'll forget to pack these things, but just
I don't know, you might.
Worth a reminder anyway. Especially it depends on like when you're going on your honeymoon. Like, are you going the day after? Hopefully not. Hopefully you have at least one buffer day. I really recommend. But yeah, making sure you have everything you need for your overnight stay. And if you need to pack for your honeymoon, a honeymoon bag, passports if you need it. I guess these days printed plane tickets or itineraries are not as big of a thing as they were in the past, but having digital versions of that saved somewhere where you can easily access it is also really important. And then practical things like your cell phone charger.
Extra chargers are just a great thing to have around for anyone. Yeah. Like truly. But yeah, I mean, I think that there's definitely things we're forgetting right now because there's just a ton you can forget on the big day. But I think that above all, like the most important things that you might forget are like the fashion fixes, right? Like you have no idea what kind of emergencies can happen. You can see horror stories, we've heard them. And actually, that's why we're going to sit down later in this episode with Risa Kostis. She's the co-founder and CEO of the Rescue Kit Company.
Yes, genius.
This episode is presented by the Rescue Kit Company, fashion emergency kits and tools created to prevent and solve wardrobe disasters. Don't let rifts, stains, or fashion mishaps ruin your perfect day. Visit therescuekitco.com to learn more.
But basically, they've thought of everything that you might need in a fashion emergency on the big day. So we'll get there. But I think that beyond that, as long as you're making a list of everything that you physically for yourself need, separate from a list of if you have a coordinator, or you might be still doing it yourself. It might still be for you, but something that's like decor list as a separate thing. And then it's like, okay, do I have my flowers or, my bud vases, or do I have a picture of how I want them set up for my coordinator?
I mean, that's key for especially like DIY. If you've sourced your, decorative items yourself, like having a mock-up is so important because then it is like more likely to look how you intended it to look.
Exactly. And then it's like you don't show up and then see it and feel upset.
Yes.
Because they can't read your mind.
1,000%. And you did that so well.
Thank you.
I have to say. Were you setting me up to talk about this? No, I'm just kidding.
I actually wasn't, but
no, but
keep going.
You really did. So you did silk floral rentals and you had a whole piece of paper like printed out with like the photos of each centerpiece, each arrangement, and where they were going to go. They were numbered and labeled for like the ceremony space and for the tables, for the transition between ceremony and reception. It was like everything you needed to just know exactly where it was going to go. And it all turned out flawlessly.
I appreciate it because I really did. I had a very specific view. Also, because I was renting these florals, I picked the specific arrangements based on how they were going to work for the ceremony and the reception. So it was like a very specific, like this one is going to go here.
So savvy.
Thank you. It's funny. I realized this after because I gave it to everyone digitally. But I also like fully printed these like photos, and it's like I used so much ink just to like put these. I wanted like a physical binder just in case somebody was like, I don't know, and they could like pick it up. And nobody looked at it, but it's fine. They looked at it on their phones. But yeah, I think like even little things like if you want your seating chart in a certain place, you have to remember to tell somebody because even if you've told these people, they're doing a million things too. So it's very, I don't know, it's just helpful to have on hand.
Absolutely. And it also keeps you as the bride from getting those last minute questions and more people coming to you and asking you, what did you want for this? You know, the more communication you can provide up front to someone, the less hassle you're going to have to deal with on the day of.
Yeah. I mean, I think that literally across the board for everything, because you have thought of everything, right? You're like, I have been thinking about anything that can go wrong and all the things that I want to bring. And then it is like, everyone has to be like, oh, Sari, where's this? Or like, Sari, where's the lint roller? Or Sari, where do you want this? And it's like, that's too much. You know, like if you have just like a designated area of like, here's all the things you might need, go look in there. Or better yet, put somebody else in charge of it. I was like, here, Jess, I trust you. This is what I want. Go set it up. And I didn't have to even think about it at all, like worry that it wasn't going to get set up right.
Yeah.
It
can apply to everything from, you know, your centerpieces to like your guest book table or your cake table or, you know, the place where your guests are going to put their gifts or cards. You know, if you have mock-ups of everything, photos, even drawings, you know, it doesn't have to be high tech, but like, you know, with tools like Canva or something, like you can create all sorts of little mock-ups with, you know, pictures you find on Pinterest or whatever. So it's super helpful, I think, to be able to pass that on to whoever is like helping you.
Yeah. Another thing to pass on, I will say, but you have to prepare it first, is your vendor tips. The best advice that you gave me, Budget Savvy Bride, was to put them in separate envelopes ahead of time, labeled. And I was thinking to myself, like when I was doing it, like, you know, I kind of want to be the one to give it to them because I think it would be really nice to be able to thank them and everything. But I didn't have time.
Yeah.
And I was so glad I was able to say to my coordinator, hey, these are in my room on the, you know, nightstand. They're labeled by who they are. Can you please hand them out?
Right.
And then I didn't have to miss a second. And I think that like just it's truly like anything you can do to be slightly more prepared is what you need. And like labels are your friend.
1,000%. Labels and checklists.
Yes.
And doing that preparation and that like pre-work and being intentional about thinking all these things through beforehand allowed you to be more present and just like be the guest of honor that you want to be on your wedding day.
Yes.
So we want that for everyone, which is why we are talking about all these things.
Yeah. And why we're so excited to bring Risa in. So I think let's talk to her.
Let's do it.
So speaking of things not to forget on your wedding day, we're very happy and excited to have our friend Risa Kostis here from the Rescue Kit Company. She's going to give us an expert view on how to be as prepared as possible on your wedding day.
That's right.
Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. This is what I do best, talk about preparedness.
So to kick it off, what we want you to do is give all of us a retelling of the story that started it all when you saved the day for a bride.
Absolutely. This story is forever ingrained in my brain. It is what catapulted this entire business. It's what made me really want to save the day for everyone, not just the brides that were hiring me. So it was about 105 degrees in Arizona.
Oof.
I know.
I'm sweating already.
You wonder why people choose that time of year.
I know.
But you have to roll with it because it's such a beautiful place to get married. It's a destination for so many brides. And it's really, I'm grateful because I built the business there. And I was working a wedding that I wasn't even paid to do.
Okay.
A photographer asked me, she knew that I was just getting started in launching my day of dressing service, which is my service where I'm by the bride's side. I don't leave her side. I hold the train. I fix the veil. I do the outfit change, the bustling, like all of the fashion emergencies that can come up.
Amazing.
And she knew I was trying to build that business. So she said, I'll give you the photos if you want to come work this wedding. So oftentimes I don't meet my brides in person until the day of, but that was really like a blind date, if you will. And I showed up not knowing her. And as we were leaving the getting ready room, somebody comes running back down the hall. I was still in the room and I just heard the pounding of the feet and I knew they were coming for me saying, we need your help. And somebody had stepped on the back of my bride's dress. She was in front of the entire group of people, which now I've implemented a rule, bride walks last. And her zipper was completely broken from somebody stepping on the train. So I had to just get into my box of tricks and my styling kit that I had been curating over the years from doing modeling shoots and editorial and just, you know, styling my everyday clients and really dig deep. And teach myself how to sew her zipper back together and ended up super gluing it, called my mom in a frantic panic, who's a world-class seamstress, and really just saved the day with that zipper sewing. And she had said to me, you know, you are really, truly my wedding day fairy. And I don't think I would have walked down the aisle had it not been for you.
Wow.
And it took 3 people to get her out of the dress that night. But my light bulb moment was really, if I hadn't have been here, which I wasn't even supposed to be, what could have been here in my place? And I just had this like the traditional aha moment where the kit was born, and I knew that it was something that I needed to make a consumer product.
So really, you took your experience giving this like luxury sort of like one-on-one attention to a bride and made it accessible for everyone, which we love because we love savvy, accessible resources for everyone.
That's 100% right. You know, not everyone can afford a wedding day of dresser. And it is a luxury service because you are getting that one-on-one attention. It's like having a personal assistant for the day that knows all of the skills that it takes to make sure that you are head to toe perfect. It's my experience as a hair and makeup artist from doing weddings when I was 21. That was my first business. So you're getting somebody who has that experience, somebody who is also a wedding planner, which I dabbled in, and somebody who is a full-time stylist who is used to moving every little hair out of place so you can look picture perfect. And you're getting this 360-degree experience and head-to-toe styling, basically like as if you were having a professional photo shoot. And that's expensive. It comes at a cost, and I'm there for the whole day, and I really don't eat during the day. I'm like, the bride doesn't eat and neither do I. And I'm holding the train. I'm doing a lot of heavy lifting, and really that is an inaccessible service for some people. And it really is something that you need to work into your budget ahead of time. So for the people who aren't able to think about all of the things that they need on the wedding day, this kit is the solution. It's the budget-friendly version of having a Risa.
I love that. So we have one of these little satin bags here, which has goodies inside. It's not the full kit, but I would love for you to just give us a glimpse at what is in the kit, because we want to know like what we need to be thinking of to be prepared.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, I think a lot of this comes from, again, what I had in my professional styling kit. So it really is being photo shoot ready, because it is like, that's your ROI, are the photos and the videos.
Oh my God,
right?
That's
truly
a good point.
It is. It's like, that's what you're going to be able to look back on and say, man, there was a hair on my forehead for every photo. I wish somebody would have told me. So it's having these tools and then finding a buddy to help you use them, and really giving you the tools to like make you feel empowered and help you feel like you're in control of your day. So we decided to put some of our heaviest hitters in the bride kit, which is our signature kit. So it's everything from double stick tape to a lint roller, stain removing spray, which I've had to remove more stains than I can tell you.
I bet.
And we've got static removing spray as well, where we've partnered with another female-founded company and collaborated with them on their static product. So we got to co-brand with them, which we love to do as well. We love to celebrate the brands that are doing it and doing it well. We don't want to reinvent the wheel on all of the products. So some of them are our own innovation, and some are collaborations with other people. You'll also find anti-chafe body glide, which was also another collaboration. Think about like chafing on a hot day. Think about breaking in a new pair of shoes. Thinking about blisters. Thinking about even if your cuticles are dry, you can just put it on your cuticles so those close-up photos look really nice of your ring. If you need to run it over a sticky zipper, it will work on a sticky zipper as well and loosen that up.
I mean, you've really thought of everything.
You name it. Chances are I've seen it. And that's the other thing, is that every wedding for me is a chance to innovate. It's a chance for me to solve yet another disaster and learn something from somebody who might have a trick up their sleeve that I haven't learned yet. You know, there's always that one bridesmaid who's the 27 dresses bridesmaid who's like, do you need some help with that? Because I've fixed that before. So it's great because it's a chance to innovate. So 22 of our heaviest hitting items, and, you know, it's all tools that are usable. That was really important to us. You don't have to be a professional stylist. We want you to take an item that you would think might be a household item, or that even might be an item that you haven't even heard of. We want you to be able to pick it up, know what it is, know how to use it, and like I said, feel empowered to take that problem and solve it yourself.
I love this. I think that something we talk a lot about is, in this day and age, a lot of us are much more comfortable doing our makeup, doing our hair. Like, we live chronically online, and our our persona and our look and everything is out there. And I think it contrasts to even like 5-10 years ago. I do think a lot of people are more comfortable with that.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a very big difference between like your just appearance and your hair and makeup and like you're saying, being styled.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know about anybody else. I've not been styled any other day but my wedding day.
Yeah.
And you don't think about these little tricks. Like it is like we keep saying, it's your main character moment and it's like your chance to be the star of the show. But with that comes all of the cameras on you. It comes emergencies that you need to fix. And so it does make so much sense. Like this is a little bit of training almost to be able to like bridge the gap between I've never done this before and it's the most important day of my life and I just want to really be prepared.
Yeah.
You just hit the nail on the head. So I really, truly, because first of all, brides that have never been married before don't know what to expect.
Right.
Not all people like being camera ready or know how to be camera ready. They've never had their photo taken before, maybe until their engagement photos.
Mm-hmm.
And then think of all eyes being on you. Think about what it's like when you line up for those family photos. Your guests are trying to get a piece of you. Your wedding party are all with you. And there's lots of things happening around you, that hustle and bustle of the wedding day. And imagine those people who maybe are a little bit more shy or introverted and don't necessarily know how to pose in front of the camera. This company is so much more than the tools that you need on your wedding day. It's that self-confidence. It's that mindset piece of everything. It's that little whisper in your ear, like, we've got everything that you need. We've got you covered. We're going to give you everything that will help you be successful. And I'm actually working with a couple right now that is hiring me for day of dressing. And when I told them that I launched this company, they immediately felt at ease. They felt, I think, more at ease about the tools that I was going to have. And they were excited to meet me too. But when I told them what I had in my bag of tricks, they were like, okay, we're in the right hands.
Yeah. I mean, my personal story for me, I thought I knew everything because of the Budget Savvy Bride. I was like, I'm so prepared. And I did not have my sister practice bustling my dress. She was there like at the final fitting and the seamstress walked her through it. But I was really convinced that I was going to make it to my cocktail hour 5 minutes in, and I wanted it to be quick. And if that was what I wanted, we should have practiced.
Yeah.
It ended up, I mean, she's amazing and she figured it out, but it took quite a bit of time. And we literally just looked at each other and we were like, why did we not practice this? And, I still made it to the cocktail hour. I think it maybe took about 20 minutes and then I was there. But it's just an example of something like, she's been married before too. And 8 years ago. And so when it was my turn to do it, we had somebody else do it because I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing. But that like leads me to this thing. I think that there's an unspoken gaining of knowledge between like women who have been at weddings, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you look for the 27 dresses girl, you look for the one who's already been married and you kind of hope that they're there and they can like shed some light on what you need and what you might need help with. But if you don't have that, you're screwed. And if you do have that one person, if they don't have the tools, like you're only as good as
the tools in your toolbox. Or
Yeah.
And the
like
team
that.
around you. I mean, I think like that's really a great point. Like, you need to know that there's going to be somebody that you can pass these things off to. And going back to the bustling, I always ask my brides in advance, to get that video from their tailor or whoever does the bustle ahead of time. Send it to their planner, send it to their maid of honor or whoever is by their side, send it to their mom or dad, and send it to a stylist if they're working with one, because that is important to be able to reference. Because let me tell you, the bustling usually takes a lot longer than you anticipate.
Yeah.
And then even after the tailoring process, like, they don't always get everything perfectly done. I've had to use our double stick tape to fix a tailoring job on the day of the wedding because the lace wasn't finished. So there's always going to be something that pops up that you're not prepared for. So that's the whole point, is like giving you the tools in your toolbox that you didn't even know you need. We are the wedding day insurance that you don't understand what you're paying for until you're in the situation where you have to use it.
Yeah.
And having that insurance company, quote unquote, the rescue kit company, it's like, and the person that you can say, hey, hang on to this kit. This is how you use this. Like, if you get it in advance of your wedding, then you know that you can practice with it and sort of have those trial runs.
Yeah, it's definitely a great gift idea for a bride to be.
Yes.
And then would you recommend like a bride, like talk it through with her maid of honor or something, like as a point person to know what's in there, like in case something arises?
Yes, absolutely. And we've taken a little bit of what's in my brain and put it, out there in a blog as well. We love to inform people. It's really, education is at the core of what we do, because I think you can just inspire and educate and teach people how to use these things in multiple ways, but definitely find somebody that's going to hang on to that for you, so they can be the point person for knowing how to use our button and bustle hook to bustle a dress. Because girls with the long nails right now, like buttons and button loops are just there. It's not happening.
Nope.
Yeah. So finding that person that's like the buddy for all of those things, and just knowing that you have somebody by your side that you can trust. And the other side of it is that, like, if you have those tools, those people can use them too, because everyone is there to enjoy the day. And we wanted to think about that. We wanted to think about your wedding party and how they've probably invested a lot of money to be with you and by your side. And so if you can take care of them, this kit takes more care of more than just the bride and the groom or whoever's getting married. Like, this is really about everyone being able to just take a deep breath and relax, because I can tell you right now, the wedding party probably needs the double stick tape more than the bride, because the bride knows how to prepare for herself, but it's going that extra level of thinking about, like, has everyone steamed their dress? Like, have they just thrown it in their suitcase and not taken it out in time for the wrinkles to relax?
Yeah.
Like, all of those things. The bride can then turn to the wedding party and say, hey, I've got you.
One of my bridesmaids ripped her dress.
Yes.
Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. And we were like, does anyone have a safety pin? And I was like, duh.
Yeah.
I brought one in my emergency kit, which wasn't really an emergency kit, but it was more like my bathroom baskets, which I've been thinking this whole time, like, this is also stuff that is great for your guests, because sometimes it's not just the bridal party that needs, their dress rips or something happens. And like, I do think that's why the bathroom baskets thing became such a thing, because it makes your guests feel cared for. And this is like a step further for all the like VIPs. I think that it's very cool too to think about it that way, because nowadays I think a lot of people are kind of foregoing getting the hair and makeup done for their bridal party. It's like we kind of do it ourselves a little bit more. And so you don't have that. Like, that was a really nice piece for people. I mean, it's costly, but it was a great way to be like, I got you, and like want you to feel great on the day. And like, this is a way to do that that's going to benefit the entire group.
And I would imagine like a lot of this stuff is useful even after the wedding day, right? Like
100%.
Keep it in your car, or keep it in your travel bag. If you're, if you're attending a wedding, you can use the things over and over again, or what you didn't use, you can carry forward with you.
Yeah. The amount of brides that still message and tag us and say, like, this is the gift that keeps on giving that I gave myself, like they can refill the kit as well with our marketplace items. Like, we sell everything individually. But yeah, I mean, this is something that everybody who gets dressed needs to have. And then really, I mean, the wedding day is, of course, like the most, one of the most special days. But if you have to take to the stage or, have a special moment, or if you were a bride that used it, you can always bring it and share it with a friend that's getting married and say, hey, this really worked for me, so go ahead and use it. But the bathroom basket is a great thought. And we always think about that too, like transferring it from the getting ready room to then the bathroom and making it look cute and however you want to do that. But sharing that with your guests, especially things like the pin kit that has like the bobby pins and the safety pins, 4 different colors, like kind of handles every situation that might come up.
I love how each time you mention a new thing, I'm like, oh my God, that's brilliant. It's like literally everything. And I know you've thought about it. I love personally on the website, it's like pin it. What are some of them? Like, I wrote it down. And it reminded me of the Bop It song.
Yeah. Like slap it, spin it, twist it, whatever.
It also reminded me of touch it, bring it, babe, watch it, turn it. Just have to tell you that. But
I love that, first of all.
I mean, I feel like that's a TikTok you guys should make.
You're hired.
Done. But I think that like, even that little detail of like, she was like, it's 4 different colors of pins, because you have no idea who's going to end up needing it. And like, this is like, I think a lot of brides do this. Like, they're scrolling social media and like, they start saving these videos of like, oh, somebody used fashion tape and it was an emergency. Or, oh, somebody used like a hook to do their, what is it even called? Their buttons.
Yep.
Like, my mom found that on social media and was like, oh, do you have this? We should bring it for the day of the wedding. And it's like, this is literally all of that done for you. It's here. It's like anything you could ever need in one place. It's really smart.
And a very cute giftable package.
Thanks, ladies. Yeah, I mean, it's things that you think you might have at home, but you can't get white safety pins and black safety pins just like a Target. So we wanted to have an element of curation that felt really special, but like we went that extra level. Like you have to have white to match like a white gown, or a black to match a black suit.
Yeah.
That was really important to us to really bring in those elements, because sometimes you're getting married on a beach in a remote place, and there is not a Dwayne Reed around the corner.
No CVS, no
CVS.
Walgreens, no. Yeah,
you got
True.
it. So it needed that little special element, but it also needed to feel really friendly and easy to use and accessible in a way that was like, oh, I know exactly what that is. I don't feel confused about how to use it, because a professional stylist might have some tools that feel like, what is this? Like a micro stitcher or something that like feels foreign to a regular person that doesn't do this every day for a living. So we really wanted it to feel like you were just going into your caboodles and pulling out like the best of the best.
Love that. It's really hiring a pro on a budget.
100%.
I'm curious to know if you could recommend 3 things that brides absolutely should not forget to bring on the wedding day. What would you say?
Oh, yeah. This is a great question. I mean, are you talking, things that are not in the kit? Like if I were to give you some pro tips, is that what you're
either
thinking?
Or. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that one of the most important things not to forget are your proper undergarments. I can't tell you how many brides struggle with not trying on all of the undergarments. They might think about the lower half of their body and not the upper half. And you also have to think about, if you're in the natural light, is something going to read sheer? And are you doing a costume change? Are you changing into a party dress? So did you think about the undergarments for all of those things? And then another thing to think about are your feet. So how are your feet going to remain comfortable? Are you breaking in new shoes? We wrote an entire ebook that's free on our website that anyone can download, where we've done all the dirty work for you. And we've thought of everything from how to pack, how to break in your shoes the right way and still capture those detail shots so your shoes don't look worn and used. And, oftentimes the feet are just forgotten about because you're so concerned about everything looking pristine and new. So take care of your feet. Think about things like moleskin. Use our Body Glide. Think about Band-Aids. They even sell little silicone patches for your toes that can help prevent blistering. There's so many tools out there. And we tried. We couldn't put everything in the kit because it would weigh 1,000 pounds and nobody would want to schlep it all over the place. But we really tried to think about the main things that people would consider. But feet for sure. And then face. You got to think about your face. So blotting tissues and powder and your touch-up kit. I can't tell you how many times people forget to grab like a lip touch-up kit or pressed powder from their glam artist on the wedding day. So they don't think about like, what are those final things that I'm going to need throughout the day that keep me looking really fresh and not, dripping by the end of the day. So yeah, think about those things. I mean, there's so many things that I wish I could put in this bag, but eventually it'll be just a marketplace full of things on our site.
That's amazing.
Choose your own adventure.
100%. Build your own. Build your own.
Love it.
This has been so wonderful. Thank you for sharing all this insight. I think like to hear like the full background of this is really inspiring too, because it is truly like, I got you. Like she's got us all. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thanks for sharing all of this with us. And thanks for saving so many brides' wedding days.
Thank you. The best is yet to come.
I loved talking to Risa.
I know. She's so cute, but also I think just a genius in what they've created. Yeah.
And just taking so much of the pressure off of remembering all the little things because she thought of it all for us already.
Yeah. I mean, this was great. And we'll keep coming back with tips and tricks that people can use wedding day and beyond.
Absolutely.
See you next time.
All right.
Thanks for tuning in to the Bouquet Toss from the team at thebudgetsavvybride.com. The Bouquet Toss is a Love Stories TV podcast.
Your support for the show makes it all possible, so don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on your favorite streaming platform, and follow Budget Savvy Bride on social media.
As always, stay savvy and stay tuned for our next episode. This episode is presented by the Rescue Kit Company, fashion emergency kits and tools created to prevent and solve wardrobe disasters. Don't let rips, stains, or fashion mishaps ruin your perfect day. Visit therescuekitco.com to learn more.